Hey, what's going on? It's Bryson with Dimes for Dollars back with another silver and buffalo nickel hunt. I went recently to the coin store and got about $10 face in silver coins. I paid about 20 times face. Got some really nice coins out of it. I am excited to show you what I got, update the progress in the album, and see if we can get any dates off these buffalo nickels. They're all dateless. So let's get into it. I'll start with the buffalo nickels, and then I'll start with the silver. And I'll bring you back in once I get some results. Alright, well I started by getting all the silver coins out. We got some halves I'm excited to get into, and some quarters, including that one really cool proof 1959 quarter. But I bring you in because we got the buffalo nickels all dated. We got all the Philadelphia ones out right now. We got from 24 all the way back to 1916. And I gotta tell you, some of these teens are in really nice shape once I nickedated them. They were all completely slick at the start. But if you look under careful light, you can actually really see a date, which is really exciting, really promising. We now have the minted buffalo nickels. These are all Denvers, and these two are San Francisco's. I'm going to do a couple live. We'll see how that turns out. Then I'll bring you back in with the results. Alright, well we're going to do 3 here. These 3 are all Denvers. So I'll show you how I apply it. I just put a little bit right here in the date area. That was a little bit more than I expected, but just enough to cover it. And we just sit and wait. And the lighting's not ideal, so I don't know if we'll see it. But we'll let it sit for a few minutes. I'll bring you back in once we get a date. Alright, well they've had about a minute now, so I already wiped this one off and it came through nice and clear. 1927 Denver. These two, I'll show you how I do it. I take it, I dry it off real quick, get all the juices off, and then I dab it off. Make sure I get every last bit of the acid off. Then I just give it a quick push down. Do the same with this one while I got it here. And wipe it off. And dab it off. And let's see if we can see a date. And it looks like this one's going to be 1916. 1916 Denver, that's pretty cool. And this one's going to be a little bit harder to see. But that looks like a 1913 Denver. I'll have to check the books on those. But it's always nice to find some minted buffaloes. And I'm excited to see what their mintage is. Alright, well I just brought out the book. And I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with these. This 1913, it's either going to be a Type 2, which has the normal reverse that you see on all the buffalo nickels. Or it's going to have the Type 1 with the raised ground. And what that means is it's just higher up. It's a first year strike. They did it a little differently then. It's kind of cool. So the backside is completely slick just about. So I'm going to nickedate it. I'll bring you back in once I get nickedated and we'll see if it's a Type 1 or a Type 2. Alright, well I nickedated it and it appears to be a Type 1. With the raised ground. It's still a really cool find. I wish I did that first, but now I know for sure it's a 1913D raised ground Type 1. Here's the Type 2 for reference. You can see it's a little bit lower, a little bit more recessed. And this 5 cents is up higher and it's more pronounced. Either way, that's a really cool find. I'll do all these other ones off camera. I'll bring you back in with a wrap up and then we'll move on to some silver. Alright, well I'm back with the buffalo nickel wrap up, and we had a good variety here. I was actually able to fill 2 more into my album. I've got all these Philadelphia ones that we went over earlier. We got a good array of Denver mint marks. We got 1913, 15, 17, 18, and 27. And that one's actually going to go in the album. We also got a 1919 San Francisco and a 1925 San Francisco. So this one's also going to go in the album here. In our remaining spots, we got that 1919 and the 1927. So I'm super excited for that. These buffalo nickels aren't the best quality, but they're from previous hunts. But I'm sure glad to fill some spots. So I'll put those in, and then we'll get on with the silver. Alright, well, we're back with the silver here, and I sorted out by type and by decade. We got 3 Standing Liberty quarters. We got a bunch from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and a couple nice 60s. We even have that proof 59, which is super cool. I've always wanted a proof silver quarter like that, especially an older one. We have a few halves. We have a single 46 Philadelphia and some Franklins. So first we'll start with the Standing Liberty quarters, and we'll work that way. Alright, well, for the Standing Liberties we were able to get 2 upgraders here. We got this 25, which is much better than the one that we had before. We also got an upgrader for the 28 Philadelphia. Unfortunately, this 27 wasn't an upgrade. It's just barely legible itself. But 2 upgrades. That's pretty good. Let's move on to the quarters. Alright, well, we're back with book 1 of the Washington quarters. And we got a few upgrades and a few holes filled. We got this 34. Unfortunately, it doesn't upgrade. But this 36 Denver, which is a harder one to come by, actually will upgrade. They're both pretty slick, but it's just a tiny bit better. As for this page, this 37 Denver is going to upgrade. This 38S, which is a harder one to come by, is actually going to upgrade. These 239s are better dates, so I definitely picked those 2 out. But unfortunately, they don't quite upgrade. We don't have anything else down here. But for this page, we have a lot. We have a really nice 41S. We actually got 2 of those. But this one's definitely the better of the 2. We got a 43D, which fills that spot. We got an upgrader 42S. And that's going to do it for this page. A lot of progress made. We filled this page out completely. Upgraded this page. That just leaves us with the 3 harder ones I've come to deal with. These 2, I don't think I'll ever find in junk silver, but you never know. So we'll keep at it until then, and we'll start on the second Washington Quarter Silver book. Alright, we're back with book 2 of the Silver Quarters now, and we made a lot of progress once again. We got this 47 Philadelphia. That's going to complete this whole first page. For the second page, we also completed that with the 53 Philadelphia. So now that page is completely filled. For this third page, we're missing 1, 55 Denver. But we filled 3 other spots, a 56 Denver, 58 Philadelphia, and 59 Philadelphia. We got 2 on accident, but I'm definitely glad to have another one. And this is the better of the 2, so that'll go in the spot. So all we're missing is that 55 Denver there, which is a little more scarce, 3.2 million minted. And for that other book, 34 Denver, and the 2 key dates, 32 D and S. I don't expect to find those in junk silver, but for the meantime, I'll keep hunting for them, and I'll be upgrading and checking for errors on any other silver quarters that I come across. So now let's go on to these half dollars, and I'll bring you in once we get them started. As for this 46 Philadelphia Walking Liberty, it's nice, but it's not nearly as nice as the one I have. So that'll go into one of the tubes in my collection, and we'll move on to these Franklin half dollars. Well, last but not least, we have the Franklin half dollars, and fortunately all 5 filled in spots right away. We have this 50 Denver, 51 Philadelphia, we have a 52S, 53 Philadelphia, and a 54S. All 5 are going to fill some spots. So I will add those to the collection, and then I'll bring you in with a few final words and a wrap up. Well, in today's hunt we made quite a bit of progress on all these books, which is always exciting. We got a few silver quarters for the overflow that I'll check for errors, and I'll put in tubes. And we got a proof out of it, which was really cool. Always wanted one of those. So If you like this video, please leave a like rating, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video.